Okay, we're back. We do have some news about the World Juniors, actually. It just came out today that 8 German players and 2 of Sweden's staff have tested positive for the coronavirus. So it's going to be interesting to see how the tournament moves forward with that. Not much more news coming out about that. The Germans, they have to quarantine until next Thursday, and they will start their tournament on Boxing Day against Canada. And Sweden, their coaching staff is going to have to do the same thing. I don't believe it's any of their players that have tested positive. But those teams did fly over with other teams on the plane, so it'll be interesting to see if we get any more cases coming out of that bubble. I hope it doesn't affect the tournament too much with teams having to pull out because of positive cases, but we'll see. But right now, we're going to look forward towards Team Russia. So Team Russia coming into this, they're looking for a little bit of revenge. If we all remember last year, they had that lead with 12 minutes to go against Canada in the gold medal game last year. And then there was that whole TSN camera incident, and it was all controversial. And then they blew the lead, and Canada wins that game, keeping Russia's goldless drought alive. They haven't won a gold since 2011. They're going to be kicking off the tournament on Christmas Day against the Americans, looking to break the streak. Not a streak they want, but they have not won gold in 10 years. In net, they definitely have one of the strongest goaltenders in the tournament, Yaroslav Askarov. You all may remember him from the draft. A lot of teams between the 10 and 15th position were poised to get him. I was hoping that the Leafs would be able to draft him, but he ended up being drafted to the Nashville Predators. He was the 11th overall pick, and he's the clear #1 goalie for Russia. He's going to play a big role in everything that happens between the pipes, and whenever they accomplish this tournament, it's going to be because of him. He is just the next level goaltender in this tournament. He's going to bring some huge experience, and he's got some great numbers this year. So look for Russia to start him. Just a quick note on him: in 7 games in the KHL this year, he has a 0.96 goals against average, which is unreal, and a .962 save percentage, which you don't see those numbers very often. It's a small sample size over 7 games, but you can still extrapolate from those numbers that he is a pretty good goaltender. Looking at the backups, it is a bit of a step down from Askarov, but it's not as bad as most people think. So let's take a look at the backups. So probably getting the backup position, you're going to have Akitamov. He was drafted by the Leafs this year, 104th overall, I believe. I might be wrong on that. But he has played more than his backup in Skotnikov. He's got a 1.58 goals against average, 9.35 save percentage, which is pretty good, and he's getting better over time. He started the season slow, but he's really started to pick up, and his numbers are getting better. So he might see 1 or 2 games if Russia has a back-to-back or something, but Askarov still is going to be the starter. Skotnikov or Skitnikov, however you want to say it, he's played 12 games right now, but he's got a goals against average of 2.46 and a save percentage of 907. But his numbers, they're not the best, but it's not going to be something that gets you into trouble. You're not looking at like an 880 save percentage; it's a 907. So he probably won't see much ice, but he is good to fall back on if you do need to have a new backup come in because Askarov goes down with an injury. That wraps up the goaltending for Russia. Goaltending is going to be the strongest part of their roster this year. The Russians are going to have an inexperienced blue line this year. They don't have much experience in tournaments with this blue line. It's kind of a young blue line, but they are going in with a guy called Shakir Mukhadulin. That's a mouthful. He's ready to be the #1 option for this team. He's 6'4", and he can do all the little things right. He's battle hards in the corner. He knows how to get the puck out of his own zone. He can hit a winger going up the sides with the neutral zone in stride, and he's huge. He's going to be big body, hard on the puck, hard on the players. So he is a great #1 option for the Russians. 2 more Russian defensemen I'm going to be looking at, drafted 48th overall in 2019 by the San Jose Sharks. We're going to have Artemi Knezev, and then Yan Kuznetsov, who was taken 50th overall in the past draft. Both these players are going to play a big role. They know how to defend in their own zone, not so good offensively, and they do struggle with small battles in the corners, but they do get the job done, and they will be able to play a big role and important roles on this team, who is lacking on the defensive side. Rounding out the bottom, kind of your bottom 2 defense, you got a guy called Kristyakov. He's going to get most of his minutes on a bottom 2 role, and a guy named Boychkov. He still kind of needs to be figured out. He didn't have the best camp. I don't know if he'll see much ice time. And one more guy I'm going to be looking at, Cheka. He's projected to be a late round first pick in the upcoming draft, but he is young and he doesn't have much experience, so he might get into 1 or 2 of the preliminary round games. But as the tournament advances on, I can't see him getting much ice time. So I am wearing the Leafs jersey for a reason in this video. 2 Leafs will headline the Russians forward group. They're not Maple Leafs, but they have been drafted by the Leafs. And that's Rodin Amirov and Mikhail Abramov. They've been really impressive this year through their games. Abramov has 14 points in 9 QMJHL games. That was before the league suspended their play. And Amirov, he scored 8 points in 23 games in the KHL. As some of you might know, the KHL is not the easiest league to get points in. So if you can put up points at a young age over in the KHL, you got something there. Some other Russian players to keep an eye on this tournament. You got Vasily Podkolzin, Arseny Gritsyuk, Igor Chinnikov, and Maxim Groshkev. The Blue Jackets kind of confused everybody when they drafted Chinnikov in the first round, but since he's been drafted, he's really picked it up and they clearly made the right choice. So he's going to be fun to watch on the World Junior stage for sure. The Russians have named Podkolzin their captain, so he's looking to have a big tournament. One last player I'm going to be looking at on this Russian team is Avanasyev. He had 67 points in 62 games with the Spitfires last year, but then he moved back to Russia and the OHL didn't begin their season. So he's been playing across the KHL and the MHL. 6 of those games, he has 4 goals and a single assist. So not much playing time, but not many players are getting playing time right now just with the landscape of the world. So hopefully he can kind of pick it up in this tournament and show us what he's got, because last season in the OHL, he was lighting it up. Overall, this Russian team, they have a good makeup to score a bunch of goals, but their defense is young and inexperienced, but I think their goaltending is going to be able to bail them out. They're going to score a lot. They're going to give up a few, and it sounds like a good recipe for success. They could be looking at a medal this tournament, so I'm predicting a medal finish for the Russians.